Let us begin with the Shanti mantra. Om Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunayama Devaah Bhadram Pashye Makshabhiryajatraah Sthirairangai Stushtuvam Sastanubhih Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuh Swasti na Indro Vruddhashravah Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedah Swasti Nastarkshyo Arishtanemihi Swasti no Brihaspatirdadhatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So, this is our third session of the Mandukya Upanishad. In the previous two sessions, we have already learned the first five mantras of the Mandukya Upanishad. Before beginning, I would like to thank the Kailash Foundation for arranging this beautiful lecture series where all of us can discuss about this Mandukya Upanishad. So thanks to Kailash Foundation. So let us begin the learning of the Mandukya Upanishad, the third session of it. Okay. So before moving on to the sixth mantra, let us first chant the first five mantras which we have already understood. Okay. So the first mantra is here. O Mityetadaksharamidam Mityetadaksharamidam Sarvam Sarvam Tasyopavyakhyanam Tasyopavyakhyanam Bhutam Bhavat Bhavishyaditi Bhutam Bhavat Bhavishyaditi Sarvamonkara Sarvamonkara Eva Eva Yachanyat Yachanyat Trikalatitam Trikalatitam Tadapyonkara Eva Tadapyonkara Eva. Mantra number 2. Sarvam Hyetad Brahma Sarvam Hyetad Brahma Ayamatma Brahma Ayamatma Brahma Soyamatma Chatushpat Soyamatma Chatushpat. Next mantra. Jagarita Sthano Jagarita Sthano Bahishprajnah Bahishprajnah Saptanga Saptanga Ekonavimshati Mukha Ekonavimshati Mukha Sthula Bhug Vaishwanaraha स्थूलभुग्वैश्वानरः प्रथमः पादः प्रथमः पादः नेक्स्ट मंत्र स्वप्नस्थानोऽन्तः प्रज्ञः स्वप्नस्थानोऽन्तः प्रज्ञः सप्तांग सप्तांग एकोनविंशतिमुखः एकोनविंशतिमुखः प्रविविक्तभुक्तैजसो प्रविविक्तभुक्तैजसो द्वितीयः पादः द्वितीयः पादः द फिफ्थ मंत्र यत्र सुप्तो न कंचन यत्र सुप्तो न कंचन कामं कामयते कामं कामयते न कंचन न कंचन स्वप्नं पश्यति स्वप्नं पश्यति तत्सुषुप्तम् तत्सुषुप्तम् सुषुप्तस्थान एकीभूतः सुषुप्तस्थान एकीभूतः प्रज्ञानघन प्रज्ञानघन एवानन्दमयो एवानन्दमयो ह्यानन्दभुक् ह्यानन्दभुक् चेतोमुखः चेतोमुखः प्राज्ञस्तृतीयः पादः प्राज्ञस्तृतीयः पादः hello 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 okay so we have learned the five mantras, the first five mantras of uh, the Mandukya Upanishad. So, do you all remember what we learnt about? So, the first mantra and the first line itself says, Om iti etad aksharam idam sarvam. Idam sarvam, all of this is Om. Nothing is beyond Om. Everything that exists, that existed in the past, that will exist in the future, everything is just Om. And that Om is also called Brahma. I am Atma Brahma. This Atma itself is Brahma. And it has three stages, right? Jagarita sthana, Swapna sthana, and Sushupti sthana. Right? In the previous session, we understood about these three stages: Jagarita sthana, Swapna sthana, and Sushupti sthana. What is Jagarita sthana? Jagarita sthana is the state of waking, being awake. Is Jagarita sthana. Bahishpragnya. Bahishpragna means during that Jagarita sthana, during that uh, awakeness, uh, during that awakening, we understand the things that are external. We are in the transaction of knowing and letting know others in the external world, right? And during that, for that transaction, we have Ekona Vimshati Mukha, the 19 Mukhas, right? The five Jnanendriyas, the five Karmendriyas, five types of Vayu, and also uh, Mana, Chitta, Buddhi, and Ahankar. These are the 19 Mukhas, the Ekona Vimshati Mukha we have for transaction in the Jagarita Sthana and also in Swapna Sthana. Sthula Bhug Vaishwanaraha. During this Jagarita Sthana, what we consume through these mukhas is sthula. Sthula means something that is ठोस, what we call it in Hindi, that is gross, right? Something that is not subtle, something that feels real because it is some kind of real, right? So that is called sthula in Sanskrit. The sthula bhuk we consume. Consume doesn't mean just to eat or drink. Consume means something that we understand, something we grasp. So what we grasp, what we understand, what we consume is sthula, sthula bhuk Vaishwanaraha. During that period, that consciousness is called Vaishwanaraha because that consciousness is aware of the Vishwa around itself. Vaishwanaraha Prathama Padaha. This is the first pada or the first state or the first aspect of the consciousness of the Atma, of Brahma, of Omkara. The second one is Swapnasthan. This Swapnasthana is not Bahishpragnya, instead it is Antahpragnya. In the dream state, we understand things, we interact with the things or people which are not in the exterior world, but inside our own mind, inside our own brain. Because all that internal world is illuminated by ourselves. So, Swapnasthanaha Antah Prajnaha. Again, Saptanga, Ekona Vimshati Mukhaha, Pravivikta Bhuk. In the previous one, we were consuming something that was sthula. Here in the dream state, we consume something that is pravivikta. Pravivikta means a sukshma, something that is subtle, something that doesn't feel much after we have had it, we have understood it, we have consumed it. We don't remember much about it. We don't have good memory about it, right? So that is pravivikta bhuk. Taijasaha. In the previous, in the Jagrita Sthana, the experiencer was called Vaishwanara. Here, the experiencer is called Taijasa. Taijasa is something that is related to Tej, to illumination. And because the internal mind itself illuminates the internal world, the consciousness is here called Taijasa. And this is the Dvitiya Padaha, the second aspect. The third one that we talked about was the deep sleep state, the sushupti. Yatra supto na kanchana kamam kamayate. Yatra supto slept, wherever the person na kanchana kamam kamayate, he does not have any desires. Na swapnam pashyati. Na kanchana swapnam pashyati. And not even the person is dreaming. The person is not in the Jagarita Sthana that he will desire anything. The person is not in the dream state that he will dream anything. Na kanchana kamam kamayate, na kanchana swapnam pashyati, tat sushuptam. That state is called the deep sleep state, the sushupti. Sushupti sthana eki bhutaha. The sushupti sthana is eki bhutaha, something that is not other than us. We cannot differentiate things because at that moment We do not understand things. It does not understand anything. No buddhi or prajna or jnana or no kind of information goes to the Atma. Nothing gets illuminated. Ah, that is Sushuptisthana. Eki Bhutaha. Everything is just one. The subject, the object, everything is just one. Eki Bhutaha. Prajnana Ghanaha. All the consciousness is just one big mass consciousness. It is not differentiated. It cannot be differentiated. That is Prajnana Ghanaha. Eva Anandamayaha. And that is the blissful state. Anandamayaha. Because you have nothing to worry about. In that state, nothing worries you because nothing else exists than your own consciousness. So it is a blissful state, Anandamaya. He Ananda book. And during that state, what we consume is just the bliss. Ananda book. Cheto Mukha. This is the Mukha towards Cheta, towards Chaitanya, towards awareness. Because from the deep sleep state, we can either go towards dreaming, which is also one kind of awareness. We can also go towards the Jagrata Sthana, right? Towards waking up, which is also awareness. So this Sushupti is actually another word in English for this Sushupti Sthana is a causal state. Ah, we also call it Karanasthana. This is a causal state because here nothing is happening but from here something can happen, right? You can either go towards the dream state or you can move towards the waking state. Huh? Because when there is nothing, the only thing that's possible is something, right? So the something that will happen after the deep sleep state, for that, this deep sleep state is the causal state, the Karanasthanam. Because before that, this exists, the nothingness, right? This nothingness exists before that. So the deep sleep state is also called the causal state or the causal seed state, you can say. Ah. But all these three states that we talked about in the previous sessions are temporary. We are not always awake. We are not always dreaming. We are not always in the deep sleep state. Ah. It is not that during the waking state there is consciousness, during the dreaming state there is some sort of consciousness, and then during deep sleep state there is no consciousness. It is not like that. The consciousness, the main consciousness, the pure consciousness always is there. And that, the pure consciousness, is also called the fourth state. And that fourth state is the underlying state among all these three states. We will understand about that in the seventh mantra. But before that, we have the sixth mantra here. Let us first go to the mantra number 6. I will chant and wait for all of you to repeat after me. Esha Sarveshvara Esha Sarveshvara Esha Sarvagnya Esha Sarvagnya Eshontyaryamyesha Eshontyaryamyesha Yonih Sarvasya Prabhava प्रभवाप्ययौ हि भूतानां हि भूतानां I might have an unstable internet connection here. Please, everybody who is attending, let me know if my voice is clear enough. My video might not be clear, but more than the video, the audio is important. So just let me know if the audio is good enough in the chats. If you can let me know. The audio is sometimes breaking. Okay, okay, okay. Uh, I apologize for that. Uh, Currently, I think I've done everything that I can do for this internet issue. I hope everything goes okay, everything goes right. Okay. Okay. Mantra number 6. Esha Sarveshwara, Esha Sarvagnya, Esha Antaryami, Esha Yonihi Sarvasya, Prabhavapyayau hi Bhutana. So, in the previous mantra, we talked about the third state, that is the deep sleep state. And during that deep sleep state, the experiencer of that deep sleep state is called prajna. The experiencer of that deep sleep state is called prajna. And in the next mantra, in the sixth mantra itself, the first word is Esha Sarveshwaraha. Esha, this Prajna, who we talked about, is also Sarveshwaraha, Sarva Ishwaraha, Sarveshwaraha. What is Sarveshwara here? Sarveshwara means the all God, all Lord, uh, the Lord of all. The same prajna that we talked about in the deep sleep state, because it is the causal state, it is the karanasthana, it is the cause of everything that exists. Because in the deep sleep, there is nothing that exists. From there, only the waking can happen and the dream can happen. Means some consciousness can arise. We can be aware of something. Something can be created. Something can be born out of it. And that is why it is called the Karanasthanam. It is called the causal deep state. Ah, it is the causal seed state. Just like from the seed, a big, massive tree can born just from a seed, a tiny seed. Similarly, from this deep sleep, when we come into awareness, everything that we already know comes into existence. During this deep sleep state, nothing exists for us. Nothing exists for us. In this deep sleep state, we do not know who we are. We, as in the waking state, whoever this person is named, right? I would not have the consciousness, I would not have the knowledge of my own name, I wouldn't have the knowledge of me existing, right? Anything that exists during this waking state or the dreaming state vanishes completely in the deep sleep state, and again it reappears when we come out of this deep sleep state. So the deep sleep state is the causal seed of everything that arises later. And that is why this is also considered as the creator of everything. Because from this, everything then gets illuminated. So this is called Sarveshwara, the Lord of all. Esha Sarveshwara, Esha Sarvagnya, Esha Sarvagnya. Sarvagnya means the all-knowing, the one who knows all. In this deep sleep state, the knower, the Prajnaha, who is also called the Sarveshwara, he is also Sarvagnya. Sarvagnya means the all-knowing Lord. Esha Antaryami. Antaryami means the controller, the inner controller. Antaryami, the one who controls from within. The internal controller, the inner controller is Antaryami. Eshaha Yoni Sarvasya. This is the Yoni of all. Yoni means the source of everything, from which everything is created, everything is born out of, right? So that is called Yoni. So Sarvasya, of all that exists, this is the Yoni, this is the source of everything. Some people might be confused that how, when we are in deep sleep, we are the Ishwar? Are we the Ishwaras? So we have to understand this from the point of view of Vedanta. In Vedanta, knowledge comes first and existence comes later. Normally, we believe that everything exists and then we get to know about it. Knowledge comes second. We think that, we understand that. But Vedanta says no, knowledge comes first and then the existence comes of anything that we know of. If I do not know about something, that thing does not exist. At least not for me, not for my universe, not for my understanding. It does not exist. So without knowledge, nothing can exist. So first we have to know something for that thing to exist. So when in the deep sleep, we know nothing. Then we become aware, either in the Jagrita Sthana or the Swapna Sthana. We become aware and things appear. They start existing. So they start existing after we come out of this deep sleep state, right? And that is why this deep sleep state, in this deep sleep state, the experiencer is called Prajnaha, Ishvaraha, Sarvagnaha, Antaryami, Yonihi Sarvasya. It is the Yoni of all. It is the source of all. Prabhavapyayau, Prabhava and Apyaya. Prabhava means in something, something in which something is created or something is born. That is Prabhava. And Apyaya means something that dissolves into something. That is Apyaya. Ah, like in a in a massive ocean, a wave appears. A wave appears. A wave is, but after a few seconds, the wave goes back to the ocean. It dissolves in the ocean. It gets dissolved in the ocean. That that dissolution is called apyaya. So that prabhava and apyaya both are happening here in the deep sleep state. Prabhavapyayo, the creation and the dissolution both are happening in the deep sleep state. Prabhavapyayo hi bhutanam. Bhutanam. Bhuta means everything that exists, everything that existed, and everything that will exist. Everything in the past, in the present, in the future. Everything that exists, everything that existed, and everything that will exist. Everything is called Bhuta. And everything is created out of this deep sleep state. But this deep sleep state also is not permanent. So, when considered individually, the deep sleep state, when considered individually, the consciousness is called prajna. And when considered cosmically, when all of this consciousness is just one massive big consciousness, that big massive consciousness, prajnana ghana, is called Ishvara. Uh, So the mantra here, which mantra? Esha Sarveshwara, Esha Sarvagnya, Esha Antaryami, Esha Yoni Sarvasya, Prabhavapyayau hi Bhutanam. This mantra says he is Sarveshwara, the Lord governing the universe. He is Sarvagnya, the omniscient being, because all knowledge exists in causal form within him. And after that, the knowledge appears, and things also appear in the waking or dreaming state. He is Antaryami, the inner controller residing in all beings. He is Yonihi Sarvasya, the source from which the universe arises. All beings emerge from him and dissolve into him. Prabhava and Apyaya, emergence and dissolution. Right. The deep sleep state gives a hint of the causal state, but Ishvara is the cosmic form. But still, yet, this is not the ultimate reality because it still relates to creation, and creation is never permanent. It is always temporary because something that is created will definitely get destroyed sometime in the time frame, right? I hope this mantra is clear. We will chant again. Okay. Esha Sarveshwaraha. Esha Sarveshwaraha. Esha Sarvagnaha. Esha Sarvagnaha. एषः अन्तर्यामी एषः अन्तर्यामी एष योनिः सर्वस्य एष योनिः सर्वस्य प्रभवाप्ययौ प्रभवाप्ययौ हि भूतानां हि भूतानां. So in the last session, in the ending of the last session, I asked all of you a question that these three states, the Jagrita Sthana, the Swapna Sthana, and the Sushupti Sthana, we understood about these three states, but do you all realize how we shift from each of these states? And just one second. Hello, hello, hello. Am I audible now? I hope I'm audible now. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. I was muted for a while. Okay. I hope I'm audible to everybody. Yes. Thank you. So, uh, ha. So in the last session, I asked you a simple question that all these three states, we all have experienced these three states: the Jagarita Avastha, the Swapna Avastha, and the Sushupti Avastha, the waking state, the dreaming state, and the deep sleep state. All of us have understood this. All of us have understood and all of us have experienced these three states. But how do we shift from each state to another? Have we experienced this? So, for that, we have to understand the fourth one. Shlok number 7, mantra number 7. Okay. Nantaf prajnaha, na bahish prajnaha, नान्तः प्रज्ञः न बहिष्प्रज्ञः.
नमस्ते प्रज्ञा, स्वागत है आप.
Sorry, there's some disturbance. Okay, let us read the mantra. That is, let us chant the mantra. Okay. Nantah prajñam न बहिष्प्रज्ञम नो भयतः प्रज्ञम न प्रज्ञानघनम न प्रज्ञम ना प्रज्ञम अदृष्टम अव्यवहार्यम अग्राह्यम अलक्षणम अचिन्त्यम अव्यपदेश्यम एकात्म प्रत्यय सारम प्रपंचोपशमम शांतम शिवम अद्वैतम चतुर्थम मन्यन्ते स आत्मा स विज्ञेयः. हाँ, चतुर्थम मन्यन्ते स आत्मा स विज्ञेयः. Chaturth, the fourth one. We have already understood the three aspects of consciousness, and this one is the fourth one. Chaturtham. And what is this Chaturtha? Something that is not the rest of the three. Ah, what was the first one? Jagarita Sthana. What was the Jagarita Sthana? It was Bahishprajnaha, something that helps us understand the external world. What was Sapnasthana? That was Antahprajnaha, something that illuminated the internal world and we experienced the internal world through it. What was Sushupti? It was Prajnana Ghanaha. It was a mass of consciousness where we cannot differentiate between one and another. The subject and object does not exist, right? But this is beyond that. The fourth one is beyond Jagrata, Swapna, or Sushupti. This is beyond that. That is why in the beginning it negates all of this. Nantaf prajnam, na bahish prajnam, no bhayatah prajnam, na prajnana ghanam, na prajnam, na prajnam. So many na. This way of understanding something is called neti in Vedanta. Na iti. This is not this. This is not this. This is not this. Sometimes, for understanding something, we have to understand what it is not. What it is, but some it is not, right? So, to understand this fourth aspect of consciousness, we have to understand what it is not. First of all, it is na antah prajnam. It is not the internal aspect, the internal knowledge, uh, not the swapna avastha. Na bahish prajnam, not the external knowledge, not jagarita sthana. It is not the waking state. No bhayatah prajnam, na ubhayatah prajnam. Ubhayata means on the both side, means something that is in the middle of the dream and the waking state. It is not even that, where we lose the track of consciousness. Some people, when they do some uh, uh, they do some alcohol or drugs, they are in reality, but they are not aware of the reality. They are somewhere in between Jagrita and dream state, right? They are not very clear of what is happening, and if whatever is happening in real or is happening just in their head, right? So that is something in the middle. So this fourth state is not even that. It is not that. It is not antah prajna. It is not bahish prajna. It is not ubhayatah prajna. It is not on both the sides, or it is not in the middle of both the sides. Na prajnana ghanam. It is not even the mass of consciousness which we talked about in the deep sleep state. It is not prajnana ghanam. Na prajnam. It is not consciousness. Na aprajnam. It is not unconsciousness. Uh, this fourth state, it cannot be described something that is antah prajna or bahish prajna or ubhayatah prajna, or the mass of consciousness or unconsciousness. It cannot be described by any of these things. So what is it? How can it be described? It can be described as the next line: adrishtam, avyavaharyam, agrahyam, alakshanam, achинtyam, avypadesyam, ekatma pratyaya saram. This fourth state is adrishtam. Adrishtam means something cannot be experienced, because the one who is the experiencer cannot be experienced. When you are seeing something, when you are just in the mountains seeing a very beautiful sunrise, you are experiencing a sunrise. You understand that I am enjoying the sunrise. I am the one who is seeing the sunrise. That I itself is ahankar. It is ego. It is one of the 19 mukhas. Ah, the one who says that I am seeing, the one who feels that I am seeing is ahankar, that is the sunrise, right? Flexing something, but that you cannot experience yourself during that, your own self, your own atma, because that is adrishta. It cannot be seen, it cannot be experienced because it underlies every other experience. The experiencer himself cannot be experienced, right? Adrishtam, avyavaharyam. Avyavaharyam means it cannot be in any kind of vyavahar. It cannot be in any kind of transaction. During the first state, the waking state, we that first state is transactional. We understand things, we say things, we do things, we give things, we take things, right? So something in in and out is going on during the deep sleep, during the swapna sthana also. Some transaction is going on during the deep sleep also. You move from deep sleep to jagrita, from dreams to deep sleep, so some transaction is going on. You are moving from here and there and here and here and there and there and here, because those three are temporary states. You keep moving, and that is why some transaction is there also. But in this fourth state there are no transaction, because in that you just are, you are there, right? During the Jagrita Sthana, you are aware that you are awake and you are doing something. During the Swapna Sthana, you are aware and you are doing something. No matter that it is in the internal mind, it is in the internal world, but you are still doing something, right? And after you are awake, you remember some parts of it, that you were in some kind of action. In deep sleep state, probably you do not understand that you are in a deep sleep state. But after waking up from that deep sleep state, after coming back to the waking state, you do realize that I was asleep. I was in a state where I could not understand anything. I did not know anything. I did not have any kind of knowledge, any kind of transaction in my own head. So you also realize that you slept. You also realize that you were in a deep sleep state. So you experienced it. Although you are not experiencing anything during the deep sleep, but you are still experiencing that you are in a deep sleep. Every other knowledge form is locked in the deep sleep, but the experiencer experiences the deep sleep, and you are awake. When you are awake, you are aware of it, that yes, I did sleep well, right? So there is something that is in the background of all these three states: the Jagrata, and these three states, and without the fourth one, the background, who will then experience? There's no, or the small waves in it. They are all just water. Without water, the ocean won't exist, the small waves won't exist. Water is the main essence. And that is how the fourth state of consciousness is basically the main state of consciousness, the real state of consciousness, the Shuddha Chaitanya. It is the fourth state, the Turiya state, uh, Turiya Avastha. And that state is very different from all the three states that we understood. And that is why it is na antah prajna, na bahish prajna, na ubhayatah prajna, na prajnanaghanam, na prajnam, na aprajnam. It is not consciousness, it is not unconsciousness. Adrishtam, it cannot be seen, it cannot be experienced. Avyavaharam, because it is beyond these three states, Jagrata, Swapna, and Sushupti, beyond these three states, it cannot be experienced because it is the experiencer. We only experience the waking state, the Swapna state, and the Sushupti state. These three states we experience, and the experiencer is the fourth one who is in the background. Uh, so that fourth state is adrishtam, cannot be experienced. Avyavaharyam, cannot have any transaction. Without the three stages, the fourth state cannot have any transaction on its own. Ah. Agrahyam, it cannot be grasped. Agrahyam, it cannot be hold on to, it cannot be grasped. Right? Agrahyam. Alakshanam, it has no lakshanam, it has no characteristics to understand. We understand things through their characteristics. What am I wearing now? A white shirt. This shirt, when you explain to someone, you begin with it. It is a white shirt. It has a V neck. Right? These are the attributes. These are the lakshanam through which you explain something, through which you describe something. So that fourth state of consciousness, the Shuddha Chaitanya, has no lakshanam. It is alakshanam. It has no lakshanam. It cannot be described. Alakshanam. Achintyam. Achintyam. It cannot be thought about because you can only think about what you already know, what you have already experienced. What you have never experienced, you cannot think about it. That is as simple as possible. So it is achintyam. Avyapadeshyam. Avyapadeshyam means undescribable. It cannot be described in words. Words cannot be used to describe it. What are we doing now? We are studying words. So we are studying words that say that this cannot be explained through words. This cannot be described through words. Avyapadeshyam ekatma pratyaya saram. Ekatma pratyaya saram, the essence of the realization that I am the self, I am the Atma. Ekatma pratyaya saram. The pratyaya, the realization of this is Atma. This fourth state, that real state is Atma. And this can either be Jagrita or Swapna or Sushupta or or sometimes nothing at all. This is Atma. This is the self. And this self itself is the essence of the realization. Right? And then the last line says, Prapanchopashamam Shantam Shivam Advaitam Chaturtham Manyante Sa Atma Sabhigneya. Prapanchopashamam. Prapanchopashamam. Upashamam means Upashamam means to get destroyed or to get dissolved into something. So in which this whole prapancha, the whole world, the entire world get dissolves into. Because the whole world exists for us through Jagrita, Swapna, and Sushupti. And these three states dissolve into the fourth state, the Turiya, which is permanent. And that is why the whole world for us also dissolves into this. So this is Prapanchopashama. The whole world dissolves into this. Prapanchopashama. Shantam. Shantam is peace, absolute peace. Shivam, pure auspiciousness. Shivam. Advaitam, which is non-dual. It is not two, it is one. It is not more than one. Advaitam. Chaturtham manyante, and this is called the fourth. Chaturtham manyante. Sa atma, sa vigneya. That is atma. Sa atma, sa vigneya. That should be known. Which should be known? The atma. This atma, which is the fourth state, which is the real self, the actual self, this should be known to all of us. This Atma is the one who we talked about in Ayam Atma Brahma. Sarvam Hyetat Brahma. And this Omkar in the beginning that we talked about. All of it is all of it. Hello, hello. Am I audible? Yes. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Okay. Let us just chant the mantra. There are some technical issues. Ha. Let us just chant the mantras, the seventh mantra, and then we will take the questions if there are any, and then we'll finish the session. Nantah prajnam न बहिष्प्रज्ञम् नो भयतः प्रज्ञम् न प्रज्ञानघनम् न प्रज्ञम् नाप्रज्ञम् अदृष्टम् अव्यवहार्यम् अग्राह्यम् अलक्षणम् अचिन्त्यम् अव्यपदेश्यम् एकात्मप्रत्ययसारम् प्रपञ्चोपशमम् शान्तम् शिवम् अद्वैतम् चतुर्थम् मन्यन्ते स आत्मा स विज्ञेयः. So this was the seventh mantra that we understood today. Are there any questions for today's session? Should ahankara be directly translated to ego in Sanskrit, or are they just closely similar but not the same? So basically, the word ahankara in Sanskrit is quite easy to understand because we already understood the word omkara in the first session. Ah, the word kara, when added behind anything, it just explains the sound of something. Omkara is the sound of om. Akara is the sound of a. Ukara is the sound of u. Makara is the sound of ma. Similarly, ahankara is the sound of aham. Ah, when you are an egoistic person, ego in a negative manner. Ah, so you always say aham, 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 aham. I did this. I want this. I deserve this. I. So that aham, the sound of aham, is too much, and that is why it is called ahankara. That bhava itself is called ahankara. But the feeling that I am, the knowledge of I exist, is also called ahankara because there also you are talking about aham. Who is aham? Who is me? Who is I? So that feeling, that knowledge of understanding that I am something is there, this consciousness that I am feeling, I exist. The knowledge of that, the feeling of that is also called ahankar, right? So the word ahankara should not always be understood in a negative way. It is in a non-negative way also. Now, the word ego in English, mostly it is used in the negative sense that he has too much of ego or she has too much of ego. Mostly it is used in the negative sense. But in Sanskrita, ahankar is negative also, but mostly in the philosophical context, it is non negative. Okay. So that is ahankar. Any more questions? धन्यवाद अनुपम जी. Okay, I think there are no more questions. So we will just end the session here. I hope all of you benefited from this session where we understood the Shashtha and Saptama mantras of the Mandukya Upanishad. And thank you to all of you who have joined. And I'm really sorry that there was some technical problems throughout the session. Uh, I will try my best to make this work in a better way tomorrow. Right? We have the next session tomorrow at 9 a.m. same time. So I will try my best to make this better. And thanks again to the Kailash Foundation who have arranged this beautiful question, this beautiful session for all of us. Uh, and it's already above time, so okay. If you have any more questions, you can just note it down and we can talk about it tomorrow also. Okay. And I'll be very happy to meet again tomorrow to all of you. Dhanyawad again. Namaste. Punarmilamaha.